Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Pseudo Ludo podcast, which is a podcast every week we talk about video games. Video games. What are they? So I'm joined here this week by Nick and Brian. Why don't you guys say hi to the fabulous audience that we have here?
Hello, fans.
Hi.
Fans? Oh, that's a little presumptuous of you. But anyway, so we're gonna do a little warm up. We're gonna play a game where we guess what Brian has on his desk right now. He's gonna give us 3 options, and one of them is a lie. So let's hear it, Brian. What do you got?
All right, so I'm sticking with my strat of having themed things. All right. So this week's theme is footwear.
Oh, good. Wow. Okay. You know, normal desk attire.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just there for shenanigans. It's not like it's just been there. But all right. So, item number 1. Adilette slides by Adidas.
Oh, what?
They're slides. I don't know how to pronounce that. Adilette.
Okay.
So they're like flip-flops,
They're slides, yeah.
What's the texture of the inside?
Boost. Wait, what do you mean the inside? What your feet
Like
are on?
the-
That's
yeah.
Boost.
I don't know what that means, but okay. Continue.
The cloud that
Yeah.
Adidas shoe
Okay, yeah, continue.
foam. Item number 2, Yeezy slides. And item number 3, DJ Khaled, another one slides.
I want to say he doesn't have the DJ Khaled ones up there.
I think those are a red herring because I think he knows. I think you know, he's like, oh, we're all in quarantine, so I need some shoes that I can wear to go outside and around the house, and I'm gonna buy some Yeezy slides, and I'm gonna reveal it on the podcast. And I think you looked for your DJ Khaled ones, and you couldn't find them, and that's why you bought a new pair. I don't know how that explains why you have 2 pairs. Probably just because you're you and you're weird.
I know that he
So-
did find the DJ Khaled ones because I saw on a snap. So that's why I'm thinking that they're not on his desk currently. So I'm going to go with DJ Khaled ones not being there.
Murph, what's your guess?
Yeah. Ooh. I don't know why you'd buy 2 extra slides on top of the DJ Khaled. That's the thing.
Why do I do anything though? You know?
He's being a good consumer.
Yeah,
I'm
come on.
gonna say the Adidas Adelaide what?
Adilette.
Okay, I'm gonna say those ones aren't there.
Okay, well, Murph wins.
God.
Yo,
However-
let's go.
Don't get too excited because I have all 3.
God.
But no, this isn't I've had all 3 for a while. This is
When did you get the?
like a
Yeezy
while
slides?
ago.
Really, I don't know.
I think it was this. I think it was. I don't think I've ever worn them in public. They're not exactly the most, you know.
Oh, I looked up what they look like.
Yeah.
They look like Crocs before you punch the holes.
Yeah,
out.
yeah, that's about right. But I had to do my part.
I'm in.
Right. Yeah, let's move on. So what have you guys been playing this week? Anything interesting for the audience to hear about?
I'll go first.
Next,
right.
save the.
Yeah.
I
Don't worry about it.
Oh, what's going on here? I'm about to get dunked on by whatever this
yeah, it's
Early.
lit.
is.
Early in the week, last week, we played some Call of Duty. We were playing Search and Destroy, and we had one of those classic, old school kind of online lobby moments where we met a guy who had a mic, and he was really cool, so he joined our party, and we played with him for a few hours. We miss you, Necro. Played a little bit of Animal Crossing this week, not much. And what else have I played? We played a lot of Minecraft yesterday, Tim.
We played an unreal amount of Minecraft. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing too exciting, but that's what we did. Bri, do you want to continue?
Yes. I've been waiting for this moment, Murph.
All right, so I'm guessing this has to do with the platinum competition, which for those of you who don't know, we're in a contest to see who can get the most platinums within the year. So take it away, Brian. Let's hear
All
what
right,
you
so I was enjoying my life. I was playing games, that are fun. Mario Odyssey, Animal Crossing, having fun with this hobby of ours. And then Murph decided to go and get a 3 platinum lead rather in the contest. So I had to kind of step back. I had to reevaluate.
Yeah, no fun allowed. That is not the point of this game.
And just launch a multi-pronged attack against you to dismantle everything that you've done. In which I have platinumed Nier Automata and recruited help from none other than co-host Nick to play through and platinum A Way Out.
Wow.
Which has been completed.
Jeez.
We didn't beat the game yet, Bryce. We got the plat though.
Yeah. No, that's what I said, didn't I?
You said which was completed, so I thought that was a little confusing.
The operation of the platinum was completed. And, many other games are being progressed on as we speak.
Wow. So what are you're down by 1 now?
I don't think I'll be down by anything by the end of the night, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it'd be a shame if
Actually not. I'm probably not going to play anything tonight, but
now Murphy's going to grind. Murphy has renewed vigor.
I will brew 5 cups of coffee, drink them all in a very short amount of time, and then I will proceed to stay up the entire night and get about 10 plats on you. 10 plats.
Well, I'm just, I had to narrow the gap a little bit there.
Yeah, thank you. You made it a little bit more interesting, At first it was like playing, taking candy from a baby, so.
Tim, this is why I wanted to help you, and I wanted you to focus on getting the Minecraft plat yesterday instead of you running off searching for beehives.
Yeah, you wanted to keep it even a little bit. That's fair.
I wanted to be the chaotic neutral.
Yeah, he giveth and he taketh away. He's low-key if he's playing both sides enough, he might end up getting more plats than both of us.
That's that's quite literally not possible.
That is impossible. So let's just do a little recap. Like, how many do we have so far since the competition started? I believe I have 16, something like that.
I have it in my notes. Hold on a second. You have 0. It says.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. That's the official book too.
I have 15 and you have 16.
Okay, cool.
But Titanfall 2 will be done the next time I sit down with it.
How was the Nier Platinum? Did you have fun with that?
Not really.
Really?
So you have to beat the game 3 times, or you have to beat the game 3 times and then get 5 of the endings. So you have to use chapter select and do 2 more, and then you unlock a store that you can buy with in-game currency the remaining trophies, and I 100% did that because, no shame.
Right.
But even with that, it still took 25 hours, and I think by the end of the 3rd playthrough, it started to outstay its welcome for me. But I think it's overall a very good game, but I think it's a little long in the tooth for me personally. Not necessarily story-wise or anything. I just think some of the fights started to just go on way too long and be way too chaotic. It's what I was concerned about Final Fantasy VII doing that it never really ended up doing, but that's kind of how the last 2 hours or so of Nier were for me.
Gotcha.
But overall, that game's great.
Cool. So this week I finally finished Final Fantasy VII, and I got the platinum in it. But you've heard me talk enough about that. It was really fun the whole way through. I'm pretty glad that it didn't because a lot of times when you go for the platinum, like you were just saying, it can kind of tarnish the game for you, but it really didn't. I think I was just excited to keep playing it the whole way through. Like, if there was more content, I would probably do it. I would keep playing. So definitely excited for the next entry in that remake series. Otherwise, I finished up Horizon Zero Dawn, which I just had a few more trophies left. I just had to get a couple collectibles and upgrades and stuff like that. So that wasn't too long, just platinumed that. I went back to Death Stranding for a couple hours. Haven't played it since pretty much the month it came out, maybe a couple months after it came out. And it's really good, really fun. I don't know if I'm going to go for the platinum in it because... I don't know. I don't know.
Pretty grindy.
Pretty grindy, and there's just so many other games I want to play right now. If I I'm gonna keep it downloaded, and if I run out of games that I want to play, I can always go back to that, throw on a podcast. But otherwise,
you got to throw on a podcast and get mining.
Yeah, that's right. I got to do that too. Yeah. So Nick and I went back to Minecraft. Brian joined in for a little bit, so that was fun. Always good to go back to Minecraft. You never stop playing Minecraft.
The greatest game of all time.
You just take some breaks. Yeah, it is one of the best games of all time. For
That's
sure.
the greatest game of all time.
I'm
All right.
cutting that for sure. I cannot let that stand. It's
Um,
like 1984. I'm just censored.
yeah, Big Brother. Otherwise, Nick and I kind of just wasted a night. We went all in on a random game called Totally Reliable Delivery Service, which is just kind of like
wiped that from my memory banks.
yeah, you didn't even mention it. It's we just kind of saw it on the store, and I was like, let's get it, try it out. We were in the mood for like a co-op game. It's really funny. We were laughing really hard. It's kind of like Gang Beast. Gang Beast, if anyone's played that.
Gang Beast controls and more content, but it's not polished at all, really.
Yeah, it's very like almost broken in some places, but it's just still for what it is. The point of it is just to have fun with your friends, and it very much accomplishes that because it's
for
just
for the $15 we spent. We played for what, 3 hours? That's that's better than a movie deal. So like,
yeah,
we got our money worth out of it.
Yeah, I laughed really hard at a lot of stuff. There was like a fake Rocket League within the game, all kinds of stuff. It was really fun, physics-based delivery game, kind of like Death Stranding, but if they made it in like 2 weeks.
This is the only other Strand game ever.
Yes.
And it's far better than Death Stranding.
It might be the second best or the best Strand game. The jury is still out on that one.
It's absolutely not the best.
It's top 2, Bri. It might not be 2.
Easy. Wait, Nick, do you want to talk about A Way Out at all?
Yeah, we should.
Wait till we beat it.
You want to start with the pros, bro?
I don't. It was enjoyable, but I think it for those of you that don't know what it is, it's a co-op exclusive, like you can't play it alone. Game, narrative adventure game where you play as 2 different prisoners as they break out of prison and try and exact their revenge on the person who basically got them in jail. And it's super goofy and cheesy, and I don't really know if it's self-aware or not. I couldn't really tell if it was just like
really funny.
It seemed self-serious to me, but we were laughing a lot. It was definitely enjoyable, but I don't know how much of that came from the game itself versus the social experience that comes with just playing something cooperatively in general. But I do think there were some stylistic moments, some cinematic moments that were pretty cool. It has like a pretty decent production value for being a rather low budget game. I know it was published by EA, but I don't think it really had a big budget behind it.
One of my favorite thing about it, other than playing with you, Brian, was like you said, the cinematics of it, especially how you see both screens, like both split screens. And like the way that they would transform around, one would get bigger, they would fade in and out. You'd get the third frame that comes in up for whatever NPC you're interacting with. I thought that was all pretty cool. But the gameplay was kind of lacking. It's just mostly walk around and hit square until you do stuff, and then you walk. And the story is probably below average, and the dialogue is unforgivably bad. But it made for some good laughs. So
the trophy list is fun too. There's a lot of Easter eggs. It's like they're all missables. So we just had a guide up, and a lot of the things that they have like tucked in there are really funny and cool that you would never really find unless you were very thoroughly exploring the environments. Because some of the stuff, there's not even button prompts. You just have to walk up to something and press square. So, which is interesting. But it was cool. I bought it at launch. I had just had it. I'd played a little bit of it with another person back when it first came out, and just had never gotten around to getting further into it, and me and Nick just decided to collude and get this plat.
It was only $9 on sale on the PlayStation Store. So
Murph, how do you feel about the collusion at play? Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, well played, good work. I think I'm gonna have to get a second controller out and play with my feet.
I told you that's what you would do.
That's what, yeah.
I think that would be. I mean, you'd have to respect it at that point. If I got it by myself,
I don't think I would have.
Was it hard
no.
to like?
I would not respect it, Tim.
Oh my god.
Think
it
for
definitely would not be fun to play alone.
Think for myself.
You should just play with Nick. Have him do it again.
I'm not doing it again. I'm hoping you get the Minecraft plat, the chaotic neutral.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I got some potions today for the fire resistance and all that. I made extras for you and Brian. So
cool.
You're welcome,
I
Brian.
already had that one. But
don't say I never did anything for you. No, I could not. Oh, Brian, I walked so long to this jungle to get the final dye that we needed, the cocoa powder, and like
today,
30-minute walk at least. Like
when were you guys playing?
I was just playing earlier.
He was playing when I was at work.
Oh, and I thought you were both playing. I was like, what the fuck did you quit?
No, we're playing right now, bro. And and then a baby zombie, which I don't know if you've seen those. They're just super fast zombies, like, and tiny. I was walking by the smallest little pool of lava, just came out of nowhere, random pool of lava. Baby zombie came out of nowhere and trucked me into it, and I died. It was a bad time.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, a lot of fun. But okay, so that sounds like everything we've been playing. I guess I also played some Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I gave that a try, but not really my thing. I don't think I'm going to go back to that. Yeah. All right, up next, let's get into the news, guys. So the Ghost of Tsushima showcase happened this week, and I watched a little bit, but I think I want to try and go in blind. But Brian, how much did you watch? A good amount of this?
I watched the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a PlayStation State of Play about it, developed by Sucker Punch, creators of Sly Cooper, aka the greatest game of all time, and the Infamous franchise that have been kind of off the radar since Infamous Second Son / Infamous First Light, and they gave the most in-depth look yet at Ghost of Tsushima, and I think it looks really cool. It seems to me to fall in line with the Horizons and Days Gones of the first party lineup of PlayStation, where they kind of take that Ubisoft checkbox open world formula and then add like a layer of polish to it that isn't in those games necessarily, and a depth to the world that isn't in those games. One thing that I think you'll like, Murph, of the UI is that it's very, very, very minimal, and
Nice.
the waypoints are all in the world. Like when you set a waypoint, then you have to follow the wind, or you'll be walking and like a fox will walk by, and if you follow it, it will take you to a point of interest. Stuff like that. And
wow,
like,
that's amazing. That's beautiful.
and you can play the game in black and white and with the Japanese voice tracks. So there's definitely it seems
wow.
like a labor of love, and
That seems really cool. I'm excited for that.
yeah, I think it's going to be great, but I'm sure the story will be good, but I think in terms of gameplay, it's going to be basically just a more well-refined version of the open world formula that you've seen for the past, 5 to 10 years.
And that's what they're good at, so I'm fine with them doing that.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. It looks really good.
That's like the kind of game you need sometimes. It's just like, it sounds like it'll be very cinematic and beautiful. Obviously, it's going to be graphically amazing, I'm sure. Second Son at the very beginning of the generation already looked really, really good. And they've had a long time to polish this up because it's been pushed back because of the Last of Us delays. So they were ready to release it a while ago, I think. So
yeah, and for the most part, their storytelling is usually really great. Like I love all the Sly Cooper games, and Infamous 1 and 2 both have really good stories. And I think Second Son is the only one that's pretty lacking, but it's not terrible. But that's the one that felt more video gamey than the rest of their stuff. And they clearly love samurai movies, so I think they'll probably do something really cool with that storyline and that setting because they have the passion for it.
I agree. I really like that there's a Japanese voice track option, and the black and white sounds really cool. Like it definitely, from the little bit I've seen, looks like they're going for like a Akira Kurosawa style old samurai film, which is awesome. So it's basically going to be like the Western, how Red Dead, encapsulated the Western genre. Hopefully this does that. Sekiro did do that, and I did feel like I was kind of playing the samurai movie, like the Kurosawa style a little bit, except From Software just has such a strong identity on their own that it almost still felt like I was playing one of their games as opposed to being immersed just in this. It always, they go beyond the genre, like how, their games, it's usually they take a starting genre like fantasy and then they push it a little bit past it. So this one seems like it's just going to be probably not doing anything super different, but I do like that they're definitely getting creative with the way you interact with the game, with the minimal user interface and stuff. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it seems like a big emphasis is being placed on the world itself, like exploring and side quests, and they seem to have populated the world with a ton of things to find. Like they were showing the main character looking out onto the horizon, and there was smoke like on the horizon, and they said that if you go down there, that'll be something. So like basically it seems like they're emphasizing more than anything the island, like the Tsushima's the island, the setting, versus the ghost character.
Okay. Yeah.
But also they did mention that your combat can either be the ghost, which is stealthy and seem to imply it was more of like the evil playthrough where you're not honorable, like, or you can be the warrior who's like the samurai and you follow like the traditions.
Bushido
so that's
code.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's
the
like
ghost
the
is more stealthy and using like things to distract people.
Right.
And, I don't know.
Yeah. That's really cool because there's always that dichotomy between the ninja and the samurai, just of how the ninja kind of does whatever they can to get a kill and to get ahead. Using poison and all that, and whereas samurai, there's a huge emphasis on fighting honorably. That's awesome.
The graphics look great too.
And obviously they, with Infamous, in a very, I would call it, unnuanced way, did a morality system. So it sounds like they're maybe approaching it, but in a more indirect manner.
Subtle.
Where, a little bit more subtle and nuanced, where the style you choose to play, be it honorable or dishonorable, maybe that'll affect something. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it had an effect on the story or something.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I'm excited.
July 17th.
That'll be a perfect summer game. I'm definitely going to watch some samurai movies ahead of time.
Get in the mood.
Yeah. Cool. I might pull one out tonight. I'm kind of excited for this now.
Getting hyped.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That fox, that little bit about the fox got
dude,
you going.
You had me at that. I love that kind of thing. Because I love open world games. I've always loved open world games, but I get a little frustrated when it's just I can look at a map and everything I would have found is already marked for me.
Right.
Maps have their purpose and waypoints have their purpose, but when you play Red Dead and Skyrim and Fallout, things still surprise you, even though there are
Why do you like
guide points
Why
on
do
the
you like
map.
The Witcher 3 then? If you could just use your Witcher senses.
No, The Witcher 3 is like that too, where you come across like any open world that has
No, you could just use your Witcher senses.
Okay. Anything that has something that'll surprise you when you explore, I like. And it sounds like they're doing that. Whereas Second Son was kind of like, what you see is what you get.
Yeah, and I do think for the most part that they are a terrific developer. Second Son,
Definitely.
I didn't dislike the game, and it was
No.
only when I returned to it for the platinum that I really started to get kind of negative on it. Like when I first played it,
Agreed.
I loved it.
Yeah, same.
So I think that they're a very quality team over there, and I think
Yeah.
it's going to be great. However, probably very tough to dance in the shadows of a Naughty Dog game,
Yeah, it's
we'll
unfortunate that they're so close together. Hopefully they just both have long legs and they can just, last for a long time. I'm sure they're going to prioritize marketing them when the PS5 comes out. At least I hope so. Hopefully through like an upgraded free patch, but who knows if there's an actual PS5 version out there. I don't know. Yeah, that'll be great. Super looking forward to that. Sucker Punch is awesome. Yeah, and Second Son was good, and if you think about when they made it, it was one of the first PS4 games that wasn't a launch game. It came out before The Witcher, before Fallout 4, before Breath of the Wild. So now they have all these before Horizon, they have all these other open world games to look at for inspiration. Because it did feel like Second Son, obviously, it was developed during the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation, and it has some older mechanics that feel like they should have been left behind in that generation, just because it was an early game of that generation. So they've had a whole generation to work on this and kind of watch the trends, see what works, and pull all the good stuff out of PS4. So I'm very much excited for this.
Yeah, and I think they've always had the technical prowess. So
Yeah.
it's more like if they've polished up their design and philosophies more and really come up with a great story, they could have a very hidden gem on their hands for the end of the generation. Because I just don't think the talk is around this as much as it is around Last of Us. So I'm excited to see who comes out on top.
Yeah.
I think they have a chance.
I think they can both work in their own way.
ways.
I mean, how did Horizon sold pretty great, and that came out right before Breath of the Wild kind of stomped on it in terms of just.
Well, those are totally different developers and
consoles.
consoles.
different consoles, I guess, but yeah.
Or publishers rather, not developers.
And we've seen a lot of different. I think we've seen a lot more press about The Last of Us, for good and bad. So, yeah, I think this just hasn't been talked about as much. Hopefully it starts to get some buzz with this new gameplay that's been out. But yeah, I'm very excited. Nick, any thoughts?
I am also very excited.
All right, back to you guys. All right, what's up next on the news? So Unreal Engine 5 was just revealed, and not super flashy news for the major, majority of video game players, but it's important nonetheless. Unreal Engine 4 has been used for a while, probably starting to get outdated, so we got Unreal Engine 5 on our hands. And Brian, did you watch this reveal?
Yeah, they showcased the demo. It's not of an actual game. It's just a demo to show the technical abilities of Unreal Engine 5. It was running on PlayStation 5, so it was the first gameplay we got of PlayStation 5. Even though it's just a demo, it was mostly just technical stuff, but the thing I got from it was how much the people at Epic were praising the PlayStation 5, comparing the SSDs to better than higher end PCs, and really just kind of, it seems like this, from both this and like just various developers on Twitter and the Mark Cerny thing, that it's not easy just to look at a specs sheet and be like, oh, this isn't good, because this seems to be, from what we have seen, a much more developer focused device that will make games better versus just being a flashy, like, oh, teraflops and this and that, because it seems to just be getting all this praise from all sorts of developers. So that's the one thing I thought was a big takeaway.
One thing that you mentioned before in our group message, Tim, was that having this, because this demo looked amazing graphically, is that having the new consoles and the strength that they're supposedly going to be coming with, you're still not going to be able to get 60 FPS across the board, because developers are going to be focused more on graphics, even though they could be focusing more on performance.
No, I think that's a big part of this, is there will be better performance.
That's what they
because
say.
Things can render faster. Like in Final Fantasy VII, there's a ton of times where you're just scrunched between two walls while the world around you loads. And allegedly, this is what the speed of these consoles will allow for things to appear faster and load faster. So it's not necessarily just everything's prettier, but it's that things don't need to render for as long, like nearly as long, so that the game can keep going as long. I'm not saying specifically frame rates, and a lot of this goes over my head anyways, but I'm just saying from what
the
I've
loading
seen.
times will definitely cut down. The frame rates, I'll believe when I see, just because like they could have had 60. I mean, like N64 games can run at 60 frames a second. It's just that usually a prettier game sells better than a 30 versus 60 frame game. So most of the time, I think they'll always just kind of push it to the limits. So whatever the limits is, or whatever the limits are, they'll probably find it and push it to that. I would totally, I know you guys probably agree, I would totally be fine with the graphics not improving at all if it guaranteed 60 frames on every game.
Yeah, I think that at a certain point, games are just going to get too pretty. It's going to be weird.
Right, uncanny valley.
I don't need photorealistic shit.
Yeah, and like you said, it's also easier to say to your customers, like, look how good this looks, or this is running at 60 frames per second, while this is only at 30.
It's definitely easier to showcase something that looks beautiful versus something that runs perfectly, because that's not really something you notice until you have it in your hands for a while. But hopefully they're able to get kind of the best of both worlds. I know the loading times are definitely supposed to be cut down a lot, which I'm excited for.
Instant downloads.
Yeah, we heard about instant downloads back in the PS4 reveal days, so I think we all have to eat with a grain of salt as usual. But overall, obviously, we're all super excited for the next generation of consoles. It's been a while.
Indeed.
But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to see what people can do. As always, I think we're in a really good place with games and game design. At least just from a design standpoint, and I think that can only get better. I've been pretty happy this generation, but I think a whole generation recap would actually be a good episode that we might want to do a little bit more down the line once PS5 is just on the horizon. I think we could definitely Zero Dawn 2. All right, next piece of news. The Nintendo Switch is getting a Paper Mario game. So coming July 17th, Paper Mario and the Origami King will be coming to Nintendo. It looks beautiful. It looks awesome. I think you can go back and listen. I think on the last podcast I was talking about how we should get a new Paper Mario game, or Paper Mario styled game. So I don't know if I called it. I don't know if I created this event, but I'm very excited.
Yeah, same. I mean, this has been rumored for a while, so easy over there.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy. Yeah, it was a pretty easy prediction. You would think that they would want to come out with one of these on their most popular console in years.
I never played the other one. Have you guys played that?
No, I just
There's
know it's
multiple.
acclaimed.
Multiple.
Yeah,
I've only
1,000 Year
played-
Door is the best one apparently.
Which one, Murph?
1,000 Year Door.
I played the N64 one.
Okay.
That's amazing.
I think 1,000 Year Door is GameCube. I actually just
Yeah.
downloaded it on the emulator last week, with the intention of playing it. So I think I'll definitely try and play it a little bit before this game comes out, just so I have a basis to compare it to.
Is it?
But,
Are they platformy, or is it more just?
No.
It's like a
It's a turn-based RPG.
yeah, which is really cool. I know also the Super Mario RPG is also another critically acclaimed Mario RPG. That's like supposed to be one of the best JRPGs ever. That's another game that I do want to play as well. But yeah, I'm super excited. The art style obviously looks amazing, looks beautiful. It's the perfect cartoony, paper crafty look. I'm overall just super excited to play this in July.
July 17th.
Yeah, I'll
Yep.
probably get Ghost of Tsushima first. Oh, I mean, I will get Ghost of Tsushima first, but
When does that release?
July. They're both July 17th.
Dropping 120 that day, right?
Yep.
I would definitely. I mean, I guess there's no point to wait because Nintendo games don't really go down in price. I would
Exactly,
probably wait a few weeks, but
Unless we get our review codes.
imagine.
Yeah, super excited. Not much else to say. I'm sure we'll see more in the coming weeks of it. All right, up next, PlayStation unveils PlayStation Studios. Bri, why don't you take it away?
So it's pretty quick, but PlayStation just revealed a new branding that they're going to be putting all of their first-party exclusives under, which is PlayStation Studios, that will all open with this little PlayStation logo that's pretty reminiscent of the Marvel Studios movie logo.
Yeah.
And it's a little piece of news, but something that I'm pretty excited for just because I'm a big PlayStation fan and I love all their exclusives. And I think having something like that that's continuity between the exclusives will add a little bit to the hype factor when you're firing up a new PlayStation game.
Yeah, they definitely. I heard they did this with the intention of making sure that everybody knows they're playing a PlayStation exclusive. And I think it's great. It does definitely look like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is, just a cool way to show off the characters and kind of establish that core unity between all the mascots, which I am a big fan of. Yeah, it looks great. I heard they're not doing this until the PS5, so
Yeah.
The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima will not have this branding at the start of the game.
So whatever the PS5 launch title is, we'll have it, which will be exciting. That'll be really fun right out of the box to see that when you're...
It'll be like whenever you walk into a Marvel movie and when that logo pops up, you get that
that
feeling.
Everybody cheers.
the fever.
All right. Murphy, want to finish up this news with this remasters?
Let's blow by these. So we're getting a Mafia trilogy, and we're also getting a Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake. Which
And Mafia 1 is a remake of Mafia 2 and 3. The other two
I
are up-res.
I did not catch that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very
So,
cool.
Exciting.
Yeah, either of
Nostalgia
you
plays.
you played a couple of Mafia. Did you play Mafia 3, Brian? Or what?
I've played 2 and 3 in minimal capacities, and I've played the Tony Hawk games thoroughly. But the Mafia 2 was fun from what I remember, but it was a while ago. I might have played 1 back in the day, but I don't think so. But 3 showed a lot of promise, but just had a lot of kind of dated things going on, and it has really, really cool story and setting and voice acting and writing, and all that cinematic stuff is really great. But as a video game, it's not particularly the most fun from what I played. But I probably will get this at the very least for the 1 remake, which looks amazing. I love mobster stuff.
It's going to be a full $60. Have they revealed the
But
price
you can
yet?
buy them individually.
Oh, can you? Interesting.
Maybe not one 1 might be bundled. I don't know.
Okay.
I was reading about it, and it was like 2 and 3 are definitive editions.
Okay.
Like, if you can buy just 1, I would buy just 1, because 2 and 3 will be
Right.
pretty dated, especially 2.
Right.
But
Yeah.
even 3, I felt like it was dated. It was a free game of the month a while ago, and I thought it was pretty dated even then. So,
Yeah, maybe I tried. I think I did try 3 at one point.
but I think a 1 full remake would be pretty awesome.
I played 1 back, on PlayStation 2 when I was way too young to be playing that. And I was obsessed with it because I think I actually played that before I played GTA 3. So that was my first experience with like that very similar style open world, steal a car, drive it around, evade the police. I loved that game. I don't know, I haven't played it in well over a decade or closer to 2 decades, but I had a lot of fun back then. So I'm sure it'll be fun to revisit it, especially in a remade form.
I agree.
Yeah. Next up on remakes, so the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 are getting remade, which are the classic, probably the most popular of the series overall, especially 2. I'm super excited for these as well. Love Tony Hawk games. Haven't had a good one in years, so it'll definitely be nostalgic to revisit that. They are definitely a product of their time.
I was pretty excited about these because I used to love the build a park or whatever you want to call it. I used to do that all the time. But the thing that I sent you guys a message in our group chat right before we went on, and it sounds like they're gonna crash team racing this one, where they said there's not gonna be any microtransactions at launch. It seemed like
Did they use the word at launch?
Yes, they said at launch there's not gonna be any. So they're probably gonna wait, like CTR. They're gonna wait until the reviews come out and it's good, and then they're gonna go in and they're gonna add them after the fact.
I don't think it'll be as much of a problem with this as it is with Crash Team Racing, though, because there's a significant portion of the game that is played on your own.
Until except the cool part of those games is unlocking all the secret characters, and for a fact now that every character, every board, all the wheels, that's all going to be like loot boxed now that you're going to get from some random thing. Which
I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. It is because of the nonsense that's been pulled before with that whole no microtransactions at launch, wait for the review period to be over, and then just slaughter it with microtransactions. I think I'm going to wait on it. It's no longer going to be a day one purchase for me, where this definitely would have been if it was just a straight up remake that I could trust. But yeah, I just want to see kind of how they implement the monetization. If it's only in some online capacity, whatever. But I do think that's one of the core experiences of the Tony Hawk games is all those secret, Darth Maul, Ben Franklin, like what you know what I mean? It's just, I don't want to have to be paying money for that or whatever. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
we'll see. So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, I'm still excited for it, and I'm just glad that that game is being brought back, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Stay tuned, you could say.
Yeah, we could say that. Maybe somebody else could jump in right now and say it for us. Maybe he's good at making pizza at a mass-produced scale.
I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. Stay tuned.
So let's get into our main topic for the week, and we are going to talk all about Smash Brothers and our favorite characters from the roster. So, as most of you know, Super Smash Brothers is a Nintendo franchise, and it's a fighting game. It began on the Nintendo 64, and it just features famous characters from, all the classic Nintendo exclusives and from third parties, and they're all just in a brawl, in a melee, one could say.
Whoa.
In a 4.
In an ultimate.
In an ultimate. Yeah.
In a Wii U.
Yeah. So we're just gonna go through. We're gonna talk about our favorite picks, and I think we all kind of picked our favorites and picked this list based on different criteria. So we'll all just go through how we chose it. All right, Nick, why don't you start us off?
So my ranking is a little bit confusing, I guess, because it's a mix of a couple different things based on how cool of a character I think it is, and then also partially on gameplay.
Okay.
So at number 5 on my list, I put Isabelle from Animal Crossing, because I think she is a funny choice to have to represent the Animal Crossing franchise. as like
Yeah.
a sweet character, but now she's in this fighting game.
Yeah, there's a lot of good memes based around her.
Yeah, and especially when
Especially
it came
after
out, when Animal Crossing
with
came out
Doom
the same day
Eternal.
as Doom Eternal, and
Yeah.
people made her out to be like vicious, or she
Rip and
enjoyed
tear.
she enjoyed it. So I picked her just based on the kind of character that is in the game, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Number 4 on my list, I picked because 1, it's a classic Nintendo franchise, but 2, because I think it's one of the cooler art styles, is Toon Link. Because the Wind Waker art style, like especially when you pull out his bombs and it has like that Wind Waker swirl in it,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
that's one of my favorite things in the game probably. So I picked Toon Link just because of the Wind Waker art style thing, but if I were to play as one of the 3 Links, I would definitely just pick normal Link because I like the sword distance and he's a little heavier.
Yeah.
Third on my list, simply because, 2 reasons again. The character origination and then how the character plays is Pokemon Trainer. Obviously, I love the Pokemon games. Tim, you do also. I think it's interesting they're able to have a character that's able to encapsulate multiple of the most loved Pokemon in the game by being able to switch between all of the Gen 1 starter Pokemon at some point in their evolution.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those Pokemon also have a different style. Like Squirtle's the lightest, and then Charizard's the heaviest. So you're able to kind of adapt to your environment as you're playing
your
that.
needs.
So I think that's kind of cool as a mechanic and as a character in the game, the way they represent it.
Definitely.
Number 2, this is more just on gameplay, basically, is K. Rool, King K. Rool.
Yeah.
I like how, when you think of Nintendo villains, in my mind, I really don't think of him being the villain in the Donkey Kong games. But I think he's a cool representation from that franchise, and I really do like the way he plays because he's a heavy, he has a great recovery, and he also has projectiles to keep your enemy at some sort of a distance. But he's also really good up close if you know how to use him.
Definitely. I'm surprised he's that high up for you, actually.
I've been playing a lot of him lately, actually. So
Interesting.
that
Because that's already... You've ruled out a couple that I would have guessed for you, based on how you've played. Like, interesting.
Well, I think the ones that I used to main in 4 Lucario, and
Yeah. I thought Lucario would be on there for sure.
he's an honorable mention. 4
Okay.
in 4 when his aura would get high, that was awesome.
Yeah, the damage meter. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Flashbacks.
I used to main as Pit also. And
Yeah, I thought both of those would be on there for sure.
they're-
Interesting. So what's your number 1? I think I can guess now what it is.
What's your guess,
My guess is Bowser.
Brian?
It's clearly Piranha Plant.
It's got to be Bowser or Ganondorf, but I don't think you used Ganondorf. I thought Ganondorf would be on your list also.
It is
interesting.
Bowser.
Okay, good. Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yep. Good job, Brian.
Thank you.
The most iconic villain from Nintendo, but also he complements my playstyle well. I need heavy characters because I'm not good at combos or anything, so I need someone that has super armor and takes a lot of damage to, kind of get me through some beatings that I'm going to take. I only need to hit the enemy like 2 or 3 times to do significant damage. And the amiibo is really cool. So Bowser's definitely at the top of my list for that one. Any questions?
No, it's a good list. Good list. Out of your 5, who do you think would win in a fight?
Bowser.
Really interesting. Because you have Link on there, and Link has faced pretty much like universe level threats at this point. And
Yeah, but Bowser has
can't-
faced the plumber, so
yeah, and he's lost to a plumber on a
yeah,
pretty
so
much universal occasion. I don't think he's ever won.
he's a good underdog story. He's
a great underdog.
He's due.
Peach clearly is in love with Bowser, and Mario is actually the one holding her
absolutely.
hostage. And
That's
Bowser
a whole
is,
other video, Murph.
Yeah, you guys aren't ready for that yet. That's a deep lore for all you people out there. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll tell you the true story. All right, wow. So Pitt just got thrown in the garbage. Pitt and Lucario, like they
Right.
never even happened. That's
You
insane.
know, Lucario has a special place in my heart for Smash 4 when we'd play at.
Not as special as King K. Rule, apparently.
You know, I'm basing this more off the new game, and I've
Crazy.
been playing a lot of K. Rool recently.
Nick's an OP meta slave. That's all I hear.
Yeah, I am.
All right, I'll go up next. I'll mention a couple guys that I've
I'm
got.
getting shunned out here.
All right, so Tim's gonna pick the 3 links: Ganondorf and Richter.
Okay, that's correct. That's correct, but also incorrect in many occasions. So before I give you my top 5, I'm going to give you some honorable mentions that I can't not mention. So first of all, Wii Fit Trainer, super hilarious character design.
Wait, what's your criteria?
So my criteria was just, characters that I enjoy using. They're not really the ones I'm best with at all times, but
Because you're not
ones
best with
just,
any of the 70 whatever characters.
That's true. They're just ones I have the most fun with using. I like their movesets, and obviously with some of them I like their source material. So I just have to give some shout-outs first to Wii Fit Trainer, which is just a really funny design overall, and I actually kind of like playing with her. Jigglypuff can't be not mentioned because Jigglypuff is just amazing with the rest move. It's high risk, high reward, and just leads to some amazing moments in the game.
Oh, do you remember when we did that? Me and you did 1v1 Jigglypuff dry rest only.
Yeah.
Whoever.
Yeah,
whoever
that's
hit
good
the
stuff.
first.
So a dry rest is when you use the rest ability without putting your opponent to sleep first. That is probably the smallest hitbox in the entire game, but very, very powerful. Almost a guaranteed one-hit knockout if you hit it. So leads to some hilarious moments, as you could guess. Another shout-out is Pikachu. Well, it's also the mascot of another franchise I love. Our one friend pretty much exclusively uses Pikachu, and it's hilarious. He's not great at the game, but he certainly gives it his all. So just a shout out for all those memories, probably since high school at least.
He's really used them that long.
Yeah, of destroying Pikachu. All right, so my top 5, I'm gonna have to go with the one that I was surprised Nick took, King K. Rool, and this out of the new additions, it's one of my favorite new additions in Smash Ultimate. I don't have any nostalgia really for Donkey Kong Country, but I appreciate him for the Nintendo history nonetheless, and he's just so much fun to use. Like Nick pretty much said it better.
Cuck.
Yeah,
That's satisfying.
Nick said it better than I could say it. He has great range, but he's also heavy. He's just really, really fun to use. Overall, great character design and a perfect Smash character in my mind. So up next, I have not just Samus and not Zero Suit Samus, but Dark Samus. And I don't know why. I think we were just playing through randoms at one point, and I found out I was pretty good with Samus. And usually if I need to pick a roster of like 3 or 5 that I actually want to try my best at, I'll put a Samus on there. I just like the range a lot, and I like the Dark Samus uses aura damage, which is the same that Lucario uses. I think it's just, first of all, it looks really cool, but second of all, it's just a more unique type of damage. And only, as far as I know, only 3 characters in the entire roster deal this type of damage, and the third is later up on my list.
Well, does Joker deal aura damage or no? Or is his fire?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think it's fire. But I don't know. I haven't played with Joker enough. I think aura damage is a specific color. So up next is regular Link. Just good old regular Link.
Wow, cool, bro.
What's that?
Cool, bro.
Yeah, so
You sounded like a teacher overhearing somebody talk smack in the back. Like, what's that?
So Link is obviously an amazing character, for his own reasons, but I think he's just one of the best. He's definitely my favorite of the classic Smash roster, where he's just your classic sword and shield, arrows for long range, very easy to pick up, hard to master kind of with his aerials and stuff, but he definitely got a boost in Smash 5 for me. He's a lot better to use now. I didn't like him too much in the earlier games. I like him a lot more now. Overall, yeah, just I love Link, so gotta play with Link. He's just pretty much always a go-to for me. And yeah, what more can be said about him? He's a classic Smash staple for many a player. So number 2 is another addition that came with Smash Ultimate, and this is Richter from Castlevania. I was super excited that Richter and Simon got announced for Smash. I had just got into the series probably the year before, so it was really cool to see them and have them in the game. And this is one of the characters that I'm really not great at. I'm pretty terrible with Richter, actually. Like, pretty much, I just suck with Richter.
It's always funny when we do what is that even called? The 5v5, whatever.
Yeah, what is that?
No, the Smashdown is the whole roster. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you always pick him and
Squad Strike, that's what it's called.
Yeah, Squad Strike.
Yeah, so when we do Squad Strike, where you pick 5 fighters and go at it, I have to have Richter on the team. I love Richter. He's too cool. Come on, he wears a headband. He's got like a chain. He throws bottles of fire that deal aura damage. He's awesome. He's really, really cool. Not good with him at all. Can't hit the whips a lot of the time. My air recovery with him is terrible because just like the original Castlevania games, he drops like a rock. So not great, but a super good adaptation of a classic video game character into a Smash character, because they do a really, really good job of preserving his moveset to make it feel like you're playing a Castlevania side-scrolling game with him. His jump is the exact same. He has the same walking animation. The whip shoots out in the same way. Overall, just a really, really great adaptation. So number 1, it could only have been Toon Link, because I owe too much to this little guy.
Ugh.
Yeah. He's just he was actually, and this might appear on Brian's list. I don't know what he's doing for his list, but Brian used to main Toon Link back in the day. Did you? Not in Melee, but at least in Smash 4.
He's not in Melee.
Oh wow, is he really not? Oh no, Young Link's in Melee, right? Shout out Young Link, he's cool too. But Toon Link, Brian, you mained him in Smash 4 until one fateful day. I don't know what prompted this, but we did a 1v1 of Toon Link, and I ended up winning somehow. And I remember that because it was such a triumphant moment, because you had dominated me in Smash for literally years. And that was one of the first times I beat you in any memorable way. So after that, I started maining Toon Link all throughout college, which is definitely the apex of my Smash career. Just when I had the most fun and when I played the most. So many memories playing Smash in college, and usually I was playing with Toon Link. So I really couldn't have picked any other one. He's just my absolute favorite from my favorite time to have been playing Smash. I don't use him as much in the new one. I stick mainly with the adult Link when I play a Link, but he still has to take the cake just because of, he's just an iconic staple for me when it comes to Smash Bros.
And a traumatic staple for me.
Yeah, traumatic. It was really a power play over Brian, and I had to flaunt it in his face for the rest of time. So there you go. But that does it for me. What do you guys think?
It's a good list.
Cool. And I think out of those, I think Dark Samus would probably win in a fight. Would have.
Have you ever played Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, though? Or
no.
what?
No, I haven't.
You poser.
Just from what I know, like Intergalactic Bounty Hunter fights that big alien thing. Yeah, pretty. Maybe I'll have more to say after our deep dive, which is going to be on Super Metroid, which I'm very excited to play.
All right, Brian, what's your criteria for your list? And then,
all right. Well, first I just want to, because my criteria is some nonsense, I just wanted to run through who I mained in each of the games just for fun, quick, before I get into my true ranking.
Yeah, good idea. I should have done that too. Can I just jump in and say shout out to Meta Knight? He was super OP in Smash Brothers Brawl, and I didn't know it at the time because I wasn't like
Meta Knight for Brawl.
I think everyone did. He was just so cool, and he was really overpowered. But I just thought I was good with him, which I probably wasn't. But yeah, shout out. Go ahead, Bri.
So in Smash 64, I used Kirby. In Melee, I used Falco, Pichu, and Mr. Game & Watch. In Wii and Wii U, I used Toon Link and Mr. Game & Watch, and now I only use Mr. Game & Watch because of a tragic event, which, we don't need to get into. So my criteria, because, I figured, who really cares about what I think are the best?
Our listeners,
what does my opinion
our
matter?
Subscriber.
No, they care about this, all right? If you had to live in a house with 5 Super Smash Bros. Characters, who would they be and why? No, that's
I like
the
this.
real.
No, I like
that's the
this.
real content.
I'm gonna make a separate list for this after I hear yours too.
All right, so let me ask you something. When you first wake up, what do you want?
Eggs.
Breakfast?
Game
Nick, let's go.
Who knows how to do that? Mr. Game Watch, who's also coincidentally the best Super Smash Bros. Fighter and character of any consequence in any video game. You know, he's going to whip you up some breakfast. He knows how to make sausages. You just walk downstairs and he's pressing B right in the kitchen. What's a better roommate than that?
He makes breakfast like it's his job, dude. It's awesome.
It is his job, and he lives in my house.
Can you please also just mention the 9 and just I don't know.
Oh
how
yeah,
you
that
can
was
work
part
that
of
into
it.
you.
So
Okay,
in case you're really looking for cheap thrills, you can just go up to him and say 9 me. It's a good chance you might be in for a different day than you expected. All right, up next. You know what I hate, Murph? I don't like getting sick. Who's gonna be there to make me chicken noodle soup? Dr. Mario.
There we go.
He has a residency in my house. He lives with me. You know, we hang out. He has a stethoscope.
He can get you some other medications also.
Oh, we don't need to get into that. Jeez, feds are gonna do a sweep. Murph. Solid Snake's gonna knock on the door. Up next, working out is hard, isn't it, Nick?
It really
you gotta have somebody there to keep you in check, to really encourage you. A Wii Fit trainer, indeed. Indeed. A translucent, monotoned man. Needed. Oh, I mean,
you gotta play
both.
Man. Can't be.
It could switch every other day. I don't know what constitutes in their real world form. But yeah, I need somebody to tell me it's time for yoga when I'm too busy eating pills and sausages. In the
Salute
kitchen.
the sun, am I right? Can we get a Salute the Sun sample in here, bro?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, sure. I'll remember that.
He didn't.
All right. Next, I figure, it can't all be roommates that are just there to fill a role. You need to have people that are fun to hang out with.
Right.
People you enjoy.
Like Jigglypuff.
And that wear backpacks. Banjo and Kazooie. All right.
Oh,
Now, they're just about as wholesome and lovable as you could possibly want for your friend group. You got Banjo. He's an honest, loyal, fun guy. And then you got Kazooie.
What is
pops
he a
out
bear?
of his backpack and smokes them with some roasts. It's good stuff. It's a great dynamic.
Banjo a bear?
He's a bear. Kazooie's a bird that lives in his
I got the bird part.
Yeah, and sometimes a gun for those who know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And last but not least, something that comes up a lot in houses is maintenance. You gotta fix those pipes, Murph. And also because I think it would be really funny to have two people that look identical and don't acknowledge it. Mario.
Yeah, that's gonna be awkward.
And they don't.
You would think Dr. Mario had some kind of pipe.
Are you gonna put the
know.
Mario Maker construction? Your Mario.
I was gonna do Pichu as a pet, but then I thought it was really funny to have
that's
Mario
messed
and
up.
Dr. Mario.
Yeah,
so
that is funny.
I have both of them, and every night at dinner, somebody awkwardly decides to, like, Kazooie pops out of a backpack and says, "You two look the same." And they say, "No, we don't."
If this was a sitcom, I would watch it. By the way.
Yeah, I'm writing a pilot for it now.
Living with
Nintendo's
Brian?
gonna give me the green light.
I'm sure they will.
Right after they give us our
I'm sure they will.
review codes.
What's more likely at this point? Maybe the green light for Brian's pilot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, Cloud is my number one, no matter what.
I almost put Cloud just because I think he would be a funny person to live with, like a really self-serious.
Yeah, like everyone else is. You just have this anime guy grunting
And
in the
like
corner.
there'd be a lot of good bits of his gigantic sword like being left in places it shouldn't.
It gets stuck on the on the ceiling every time he walks under a door frame and stuff. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so if
there
I
you
had
have
a
it.
house, I would probably pick. I was just gonna say like every girl character or something. I don't know.
Zero
Couldn't
Suit
formulate.
Samus.
Couldn't formulate the. Oh yeah, I would have 5 Zero Suit Samuses.
Zero Suit Samus, Wii Fit Trainer, female version.
Whoa, hey, easy. No, all right. That's a good bit though. I like this, Brian. I think I would
Kirby
go.
after he sucks up Zero Suit Samus.
Wow, Murph.
All right,
That really
so
hit home.
so when you're tired of doing your taxes, you really just wish you could avoid them.
Do I have the dinosaur for you?
Yeah, that's right, Yoshi. He's multi-talented. I think he can cook.
Yeah, he's sitting there.
You can ride on him like Mario does. I don't know. He shoots his tongue out really far. That probably would be fun for stuff like I don't know,
What kind of stuff?
like Can Jam. He'd be good at Can Jam. I would say.
Whoa.
He would. He can like hover in the air by kicking his little feet out.
Would Yoshi
Nah,
be
who
better
would be the
at
best at
spike
can
ball or
jam?
can jam?
That would be
Somebody
That's a
somebody
good
has an
question.
over B that's like a projectile, isn't it? That's like similar to that.
Duck Hunt.
has the
Duck
best.
Hunt, dude.
Yeah,
Duck Hunt
would be filthy. At
god
can jam.
tier at can jam.
He's
Are you
slotting
kidding?
that every single time.
Yeah, I feel like Sonic would be pretty good at cam jam. I think Sonic is like a bullet timer, like Neo. He can like so he can just freeze time, knock the cannon, or knock the jam it in the can. Yeah.
Ugh.
What are we talking about at this
You know
point?
who would low key be one of the worst people to live with? This is based
Wario.
all on my own headcanon. Captain Falcon.
No, I
You're
think
gonna
he'd
say
be
Captain
cool.
Phillips
Dude,
or
Wario
something.
would be the worst for sure.
Nah.
Yeah, Wario's always
He's got a-
farting.
he's got a motorcycle.
Farting,
motorcycle.
driving
I
his
lived with
motorcycle ever.
Brent
He's
for
just
4
he's
years.
definitely
he was
disgusting.
always farting.
Yeah, you're right.
No, when you're right, you're right. Captain Falcon would like drunk drive his little car.
Yeah,
Come
he definitely has
crashing
some.
in it.
He has some
Falcon
DUIs. He has some DUIs.
And it would be going really fast, so it'd be extra dangerous.
I feel like if I had to pick, I'd pick just a bunch of normal, regular, like as
Jeez.
regular as a Smash roster gets. I can't name any regular ones off the top of my head,
We
but
fish right
my fifth one would be Mewtwo, just to kind of shake.
I
things up.
also thought about that because I was
Just
like,
as
I was literally
cerebral-
looking at his Wikipedia.
he doesn't-
of, like,
he doesn't
what
open his mouth. He
features
just
has.
talks to you using his brain waves. Yeah.
He's too sketchy, but that'd be a great like C story character in the sitcom. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't live with us, but
He doesn't
comes
show up
through.
every episode. Yeah.
He
he's
gets
just
into
like,
some sketchy
High
antics.
key, Mario
Yeah.
is one of my least favorite characters in Smash.
Oh, he's probably my least favorite.
He sucks.
play as,
yeah,
or-
to play as.
Yeah,
he
to
sucks.
play as he's
Yeah,
I
not
hate
fun to
playing
play
as him.
as.
Great character, obviously. I'd have Ryu and Ken live together as roommates just to
fight.
see him fight all the time. Fight. And I think that's it.
What would it be like living with King DDD?
Not fun. It'd be scary, probably. His
You're
his
either
soulless
living in
eyes.
his palace or he's a war criminal and he's for some reason hiding out with you. And I'm out
Yeah.
on both of those.
He could suck
Team
you up
Kirby.
and like spit you back out. I don't know if I'd like that.
And it's like little boys that carry him around on a throne through the house.
I feel like the Fire Emblem characters, as many as there are, there's probably just like they're probably chill people. Like I don't think any of them.
Nah.
You know what I mean? They're probably
doesn't
just,
Robin just like read? Isn't that his power? Reading.
yeah. He's probably cool. He's probably well read.
Tim,
Probably good at Jeopardy.
Tim, I'm
and
surprised
stuff.
you didn't pick
Trivia
Hero.
night with him. No, I didn't play as him enough. Like I like Fire or I like the character, but I don't play with him at all. I don't like him in
I
Smash.
just thought you'd maybe
He's-
like him because you like that game so much.
Yeah, Cloud would be in it. Cloud would be number one. But yeah, anything else worth mentioning? Well, I
That
think we had a
does it
good
for me.
tangent there, Brian. That was a good category, good list. I
Hey,
like
thanks.
the thinking outside the box. Yeah. All right, you guys want to wrap it up? I'm not sure how long we've been going for, but yeah, it's about
it's
time
about
to wrap
time.
it up.
Wrap it up.
All right, so be sure to follow us on Twitter. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know any ideas for topics that you might want to hear us cover on later episodes.
Check out our YouTube channel. We post all the episodes there.
Yeah, and yeah, at Pseudo Ludocast on Twitter. Like us, rate, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Tell your friends. If any of your friends like video games, say, hey, I got a below average podcast for you. And that about does it. We will see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Side note, do you see his TikTok? His TikToks? He made a TikTok account where he just like goes through his mansion of a house and just shows you how rich he is, basically.
This is mansion made out of pizza.
Yeah, surprisingly, yes.